Hey, what's up? Welcome back to another tutorial from PH Studios. This is from the XNA SpaceShooter Complete Games series. And this is the state we left our game last time. It just does a menu system, and you can move the menu, but you cannot select anything but play game ends the menu. So now we need to build on that menu system and create the finishing touches. And unfortunately, one of the finishing touches is adding all the screens. So before we begin, there was one piece of information we forgot to do previously, and that was we need to add one line of code in one of the files that I was beginning to write, but I stopped during one of the videos. And for some reason I forgot to add it again. So we're going to add that now. Okay, so let's open up player.cs, and inside the initialize, let's add, underneath speed, let's add hits left is equal to some number. I'll choose 10. And then let's save it. That's the only line we forgot to do. Alright. So what we're going to do in this tutorial is we're going to add these screens. The screens are the ones you'll see the individual types of sections of the game, like the pausing, the actual gameplay, the help and options part, and the main menu, which is already finished. It's already created, but we need to finish it. So for this tutorial, let's just worry about the help screen. So let's right-click screens, and let's go to add class, and let's call it help screen. Alright, now it's going to be public class help screen, and it's going to be a derivative of gameplay, game screen. Alright, now we need to hover over the G and you'll get the little rectangle, and if we hover over that we'll get this, and let's add the implemented part. Alright. So what this help screen is it's just going to be a list of strings, and this list of strings is just going to be the lines that we will display our information on. And now I have a constructor. Alright, so the lines are going to be for the tutorial I did a long time ago. All we did was set up arrow does this, down arrow does this, left arrow does this, right arrow does this, and all that type of stuff. So here you can determine what button does what, and we can reflect that in the input system. But I've already done this, so I'm just going to copy and paste it so I don't waste too much of your time. What you do is you just go to, it's a help lines, this is a list, so you just add the strings that way. And of course for the transition both on and off time, I set that to 1 second. Alright? So then I added an up arrow string, then I added what that does. Then I added a down arrow string and what that does. And I kept on adding those and until I found out all the buttons I wanted to have working in the game. So the up arrow in the menu system will select a menu above us. In the game, it'll move our ship up. If we hit the down arrow, we'll select the option below us in the menu, and in the game we will move down. Left and right have no effect inside the menu system. However, in game it moves left and right. Space in the menu has no effect, but in the game it will fire. Enter in the menu system, it will activate that highlighted menu entry that you have. In the game, it will have no effect. Escape in the menu, we will quit the game. In the sub-menu, we will go back. And in the game, we'll just pause and resume. Now in the sub-menu, it will be this. This is the sub-menu, because you activate the help and options, and then that goes to this, and this is a sub-menu type thing. Okay. So we have our input system. Let's see what our properties are. We did our properties, and one of them is menu select, and the other one is menu cancel. Alright, so now we need a public override, and let's handle input. That one. Alright. Now we can leave base if you want to, but since we know this is a direct derivative of game screen, we do not need to have base. Alright. So what we need to do here is we need to get the input state, or input system. It's input state on the sample and the older tutorial, but in this one it's input system. Help input is equal to screen manager dot input system. Alright, so we get a local reference to that. If help input dot menu cancel, and that will just be the escape key. So if it's menu cancel, we need to exit screen, and then we need to do screen manager dot add screen, a new, and we need to go back to the main menu screen. Alright, so when we cancel, it just exits our screen. Alright. Now we need draw, and I'm going to delete all the Microsoft.XNA framework dots and just leave game time. But then we need to add using Microsoft.XNA framework. I'm going to delete throw new exception since we'll be coding. Alright. So now we need to get to our sprite batch, and then we need to add using Microsoft.XNA framework.graphics, and then we need sprite batch is equal to screen manager.sprite batch. Just getting a local reference on all the. Now we need to get a font, but we haven't done this yet. Get the local reference to our fonts. So we'll do that once we finish the fonts section. So now we need a vector 2. Alright. Underneath the comment, let's just add something there. Sprite font, and let's just call it font is equal to null for right now. So we'll edit that after we finish a dedicated fonts class. Or we can just add it to the screen manager, and that will be easier. And I'll probably do that because we've done that in the tutorial already. So that's probably a better idea. So let's add a vector 2 called position. And that will be a new vector 2. And that will be 100, 200 towards the top left, but not exactly on the top left corner. Alright, so that's the first position of our menu entry, where the up arrow will appear, is 100, 200. Vector 2, just origin, and that's a new vector 2, and that's the origin of our each line. So we can get that by using the sprite font you see above here. It's null, but we can work on it like it was not null. So what we're going to do for the origin is just the Y. The Y origin. We will not have an X origin, but the Y origin, we want that half. And the easiest way to do that is just to do font.line spacing divided by 2. And that just gives us half. It uses the line spacing in the sprite font, it uses the font, and we do not have a font, do we? Yeah, there we do. Spacing, yeah. And then line spacing, that's built into the font by using the size and all that type characteristics. And that'll just divide it by half, and that will be our Y origin. Alright, so now let's do a color. Color and font color. It's equal to new color. Oh, what are we gonna do here? Not new color, let's just do color.white. That sounds good. Alright. So that's the basic font color, but let's add another color called title color. It's equal to color dot yellow. Or color dot something. And that's just going to be the title up arrow, down arrow, left arrow, right arrow, and that stuff. And the regular color will be in menu, in menu, in menu. So you can make them both white if you want to, or you can make one of them white, the other one yellow. So to get the fade effect over in this screen, what I did in the tutorial a year and a half ago is we had two different colors, and it's called button color in that one, I don't know why. Font color is equal to new color, and what I did to get the fade is just get font color dot R, font color dot G, and font color dot B. Then the alpha, I just did the screen alpha, if I still have it. Yep, there we go. Screen alpha, and in parentheses and semicolon. Now to do the same thing for the title color, we're just going to do title color is equal to new color, title color.r, title color.g, title color.b, screen alpha. Remember, the screen alpha is built into the screen system, and that just determines how much of our screen is being presented. It's either 100% opacity or 0 or somewhere in between. And just the RGB values we have currently set. And then screen alpha. So that's one of the constructors in color. It accepts RGBA in bytes, and then we access the RGB values by doing the object name.r, object name.g, object name.b, and then the screen alpha returns a byte. So that's why we can do that. Now let's do float.